It's a pleasure to see a Democrat and a Republican side by side. You don't look like someone's got the cooties. We'll start there. But Representative Shuler, I wanted to start with you. You've got 100 signatures out of 435 members of Congress. How many people did you ask to sign?
Well, actually, we spent a few days asking on the House floor, and I spent a lot of time on the Republican, and so Mike actually spent some time on the Democrat side, and we were trying to collectively together in a bipartisan way get as many members as we possibly can. We have 100 now. Even after the letter went out today, members were calling our offices asking if they could be on the letter, so we'll increase that number day by day. And even those members who didn't sign the letter were in favor of what we were trying to do, is to make a bipartisan way to put pressure on the super committee, but also let them know that we're there behind them.
So you have 23% of Congress on board. Now, I don't want to throw a wet blanket because we're excited about this letter, but that's not enough to get it to pass, right, if you had some sort of a deal out of the super committee. So when you say 100, is that a barometer of success, or, gosh, it's only 23%? That's sad.
Well, I would tell you that getting 100 members of Congress to do anything together is pretty hard to do. And we've only been at this for about a week trying to get these signatures, and I think it's remarkable that we got 100 signatures to sign a letter that said put everything on the table. There were Republicans that were obviously nervous about the revenue aspect of it. There were Democrats that were obviously nervous about the mandatory spending provision of it. But yet, I think every member of Congress knows that something's got to be done, and it's got to be done in a big way, that the $1.2 trillion isn't going to cut it.
No, it definitely isn't, not even close when it comes to downgrades. And Representative Simpson, I wanted to just ask you this, because obviously it's one thing to say you're going to reduce debt. It's another to do it. And you said today that it was really risky for people in your party, for Republicans, to sign anything that mentions revenue, translation, tax increases. Representative Shuler had said he was prepared to lose his seat to get this done. Are you willing to do that too?
Well, I think everybody that signed that letter is putting their seat at risk, because there are going to be people that misinterpret what you're trying to do, or don't feel like you ought to be looking at everything. There are people that obviously don't want to raise taxes, don't want to increase revenues. There are people that don't think we need any reform to the mandatory spending, the Medicare and Social Security. But the reality is you cannot get to $4 trillion, and we'd like to see it even go higher. But you cannot get to $4 trillion by just looking at one half of the equation. You have to look at everything, and that's what we're encouraging the super committee to do.
And I wanted to ask all of you this. It's a very simple, kind of to make a point to people that this isn't that complicated if everything's on the table. We did some math, and I just want to throw this out to both of you. If you let the Bush tax cuts expire for everyone, revenue goes up by $2.8 trillion over 10 years. So if that's 50% of the deal, then you do $2.8 trillion of spending cuts on the other side, entitlements, you get a total of $5.6 trillion. That would solve the problem. That's big. Is that something, Congressman Shuler, that you think should be on the table?
Well, I think it all can be on the table, and on the revenue side, you can lower the rate and broaden the base, and you actually gain that much revenue in addition to the savings that you can have in Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security.
We didn't want to get into the specifics of how to do it. What we're saying is everything's got to be on the table. We're willing to look at everything, and we're willing to make the tough votes that it's going to take. And I don't care what that committee comes out with. It is going to be some difficult votes.
It is, and we applaud and are rooting for both of you to get it done and get a whole lot more signatures. So thanks to both of you, Congressman Shuler and Simpson, for being with us.
Thank you,
Aaron.
All right, now.